Today about Space 1999 Series 2. As you may recall, we talked about Space 1999 Series 1 about 6 months ago, and it's time to talk about Series 2, or Season 2, or Series 2, as they're almost interchangeable. Now, what was interesting to know that in America, we didn't know this, but basically we saw one season after the other. But basically, after the first season had ended of Space 1999, which was in, which most of those episodes were recorded in 73, 74, we didn't get them in the States till 75, was that Space 1999 Season 1 had been canceled. It really didn't do well enough in the ratings to warrant a second season. However, the powers that be at ITC decided to give it a second chance, and they basically had commissioned Fred Freiberger to direct and produce the second season. Now, those of you Star Trek fans know, Fred Freiberger was involved with the third and final season of Star Trek, and basically, maybe unfairly, he was known as the show killer in the movie, the TV industry. And to be fair to Fred Freiberger, in the third season of Star Trek, the quality of the show was, the visual quality was much better, and there were some very good episodes. And like Day of the Dove and Spectre of the Gun. But unfortunately, also Star Trek was on Friday nights at 10 o'clock against Gunsmoke, which is the most popular show, or very popular show at the time. So that, among other things, did the show in. So you really just can't lay all the blame with Mr. Freiberger, but you could see a kind of a cause and effect there with the second season of Space 1999. Now, from what I understand, there's a very good book called Space 1999, A Critical Analysis, I think by Kenneth Muir, M-U-I-R, and he talks about this a little bit. But basically, Freiberger was given 8 episodes to view from the first season, and based upon what he saw, he made some very interesting decisions based upon the viewing of those episodes. So when the second season started in America, season 2 starts, we're kind of like left with a big smack in the face. I mean, a number of characters are gone, such as Professor Bergman, played by Barry Morris, Prentice Hancock, who played Paul Morrow, Clifton Jones, who played David Kano. They're gone. And we no longer have main mission. It's called Command Center. And there's a new character, Tony Anhold, playing Tony Verdeschi, who's this guy we never saw in the first series, the first season. So we're kind of like left like, what the hell's going on? Everybody's wearing jackets. The uniforms were also different, like with the exception of Commander Koenig's uniform from season 1, which had a collar. Nobody else had a collar. They had like a colored sleeve, like yellow or orange, brown or purple, but no collar. Now they have a matching collar to match the sleeve. Okay, so security of purple collar. Maintenance, flight control, yellow. Engineering, brown. Okay, and medical, white and white. Now, some of the other changes was that some of the people from Series 1 made it over to Season 2. Okay, so basically, so we have Commander Koenig, played by Martin Landau, Barbara Bain playing, Dr. Russell, and then Nick Tate as Alan Carter, Ziana Merton, who played Sandra Benish, although they called her San, and this other individual that kind of made the cut was Anton Phillips, who played Dr. Matthias. And I say kind of made the cut because he was only in 2 episodes. He was mentioned in a third, and then his doctor position was taken over by all these various different actors and characters, like Blake Main, who played that part in the Devil's Planet episode. Raoul, this guy I think was in The Mark of Arcanon. Dr. Ben Vincent, played by Jeffrey Cassoon, he was in a number of episodes. And Sam Daster played Dr. Ed Spencer. So basically, Dr. Anton Phillips, Dr. Matthias, Anton Phillips Matthias, his character got kind of just gone after. So he made it to the second. He made it to the second season, and then he just was gone. Ziana Merton, who plays Sandra Benish, I think some of the episodes that were, delegated to her were then given to other characters who took over her position on the base. Yasuko Mataguna, who played Yasko, and also Alib Parsons, who played Alib, they wound up taking over or occupying the same position she occupied in the command center. So while Sandra, but I'll tell you, while Sandra was in less episodes, her episode appearances were more significant. All right. And basically, though, we were left with like an explanation, wondering what happened to Kano and Professor Bergman and what happened to Paul Morrow. And basically, there were rumors that there had been, there was going to be a mention that Professor Bergman died because of a faulty spacesuit. That was never ever shown. There's just been like a legend about that. And essentially, from what I think Nick Tate was reported of saying, that Fred Freiberger said, well, Kano and Paul, they really had no fan following, no influence, and they're not really relevant, and they're somewhere on the base somewhere, which I think is really cold. So people that we knew from the first season, they're gone with no explanation. We have new people we never saw before from season 1 in season 2. I mean, when you see the first episode of the second season of The Metamorph, well, Tony Vedeschi, played by Tony Anhalt, is there as if he was there all along. And he's somehow the second in command. We don't even know how this guy got here. All right? So, like I said, we in America were kind of like left a little bit confused because we didn't know that the show had been canceled over in Britain and this was the second chance. Rather, it was like this or all or nothing. I don't know. And remember, a lot of episodes from season 1 were filmed in 73, 74, and they came over to America in 75. So the second series was playing in 76 was filmed. That's when we got them. Okay, we didn't know about this cancellation because there was no lapse in showing the show from season 1 to season 2. There was just a big change. Now there was other changes too. The Eagles did a lot more. They had booster rockets attached to them, and they were much more of a workhorse. So we got to see them performing other functions than the standard functions that they performed in season 1 of defending the base or being transporters from one planet to another. All right, like in the Exiles episode, they're lifting, their conveyors to bring the missiles down from the orbit in the moon, or sometimes when an Eagle is out hanging out in orbit too long, a refueling Eagle comes and it's got a swinging arm that puts a canister in to refuel the Eagle and take off. So, and also the booster rockets that we talked about as well. So so that was another cosmetic change. Also on the base, even though outside it looked the same as from season 1, there were a lot of changes. Like there's no longer a main mission. Everybody was in called command center, which is like that's below main mission. The base had new armament to defend itself, like 2 laser gun turrets. All right, and also like the people in the base were doing a lot of excavation work in the catacombs of the moon. Well, that's actually an episode of the second season. They were doing drilling work and stuff like that. And actually, in the Mark of Arcanon, Alan happened to stumble upon this hidden crypt for these people that were suspended animation from Arcanon. So there was a lot more going on. So there was changes in uniforms. Also with the equipment, like the lasers, okay, looked the same. They're the same configuration. But from season 1, when they usually fight or something like that, with the second season, it's something like that. The comm looked the same, pretty much. But on the whole, there were subtle differences. So we had different characters, a different look. Also with the uniforms, like I said before, we had the collar and them wearing jackets, like a red jacket or a blue jacket. They would have a little ID badge on their shirt. Now, the biggest change was Catherine Schell, who came aboard as Maya, and she came upon in the second season in the very first episode of The Metamorph. And good thing that we had an introductory episode for her, because had she shown up after all the changes, we were like, who is this person? If they just threw the character at us without some type of backdrop of how we met this character, that really would have been not too cool. So the Metamorph episode, we meet her, and her father is his mentor, who has this computer, the biological psyche, which he needs mental energy to help save his dying planet. Of course, that turns you into a vegetable. It's not a really good solution. And anyway, Commander Koenig convinces Maya that her father's doing all these terrible things, and she helps Commander Koenig escape, and they blow up the machine, and of course, Psyche blows up, and they then take Maya on the base because she's a really smart person, scientific knowledge is well advanced over Alpha. And she became a regular character on the show. But the problem with her was that as a metamorph, which she could transform into one living form or another, they were using her too much as a plot device. And she would turn into some ridiculous things like a fox or a man in a plastic ape suit, you know. So it got to be a little bit too much, especially when you use a metamorph too much. Like, and you see where in Deep Space Nine with Odo's character, well, he was a changeling and had the ability to transform as well. But I think also to inanimate objects, they didn't use that a lot. Only once in a while. But whereas Maya was being used almost every time in an episode, it'd be very rare in an episode that she didn't transform. In fact, I can't really think of one off my head where she does, you know. Also, there was the love interest between her and Tony Videshi. Okay. The other good thing that Freiberger had brought in was that the characters were more human. One of the criticisms of season one's characters were they were very wooden, had no life to them. Check, come on, check, you know. So basically, there was a lot more liveliness and human characteristics to them. Also, like, things got a lot less formal in the second season. Like, the only one that called Commander Coney John was maybe, you know, Dr. Russell and sometimes Professor Bergman, but nobody else did. Here in the second season, this guy Tony, who we never saw as John, you know, and Alan's calling him John. And, you know, Barbara Baines calling him John. I was like, whoa, what happened to the discipline here? I mean, you notice in Star Trek, you know, the only people who call Captain Kirk Jim was Dr. McCoy, sometimes Mr. Spock, and in one episode, Mirror, Mirror, Scotty. But nobody was calling Captain Kirk Jim all the time. But, of course, it's a different show altogether. So, there are a lot of positives to the second season. There's people that like this first season and don't like the second. My best friend, Barry, he can't stand the second season. He thinks, like as many people do, that was just a cartoon, an all action adventure, and that's it. But, you know, it's like, you need action also, and not just philosophical stuff. And I think, in my opinion, that the last 8 or 9 episodes of the show were very good. The show is coming into its own, like The Bringers of Wonder, and Dorzak, and, you know, the Lambda Factor, and the Seance Spectre. Those are very good episodes. The Dorkons also. Very good episodes. Devil's Planet, not so much. But, you know, they were starting to, like, and we were starting to adapt now to this new cast. New cast, a new way of doing things. And there was great background music, like Barry Gray's music from season 1 was rather orchestral. This guy, Derek Wadsworth, who did season 2, had a lot more synthesizer and electronic music, and it was very much more exciting. And very well played. Very well played. But they are like two different shows. And that's the best way for you to try to view it. You can't look at season 2 as a continuation of season 1. There's only the two separate shows. But they both have their positive and negative aspects. I think you could like both of them. You know, some people say that season 1 is too boring and too philosophical, not enough action. Maybe true. Maybe true. I really noticed that as I got older, because when I was a kid and watching Space Nine season 1, I didn't notice that. But as I got older and liked the humor in Star Trek, I noticed that was missing in season 1. You know, whereas in season 2, they brought a lot more humanity back to the show. But like I said, you can like both of them, and I think you really should try to watch season 2 when you get a chance. It's definitely worth watching, and I'm glad that we had that and no second season. You know, and like I said, there are some standout episodes, Bringers of Wonder Part 1 and 2, and Dorzak, Lambda Factor, Seance Spectre, the Dorkons. Those are very good episodes, and they're worth watching. And eventually, we start talking more about Space 99, I will start reviewing individual episodes for you. But it's definitely worth a watch. It's a different show altogether. Try not to like compare the two of them, and watch each season as a separate show with their own merits. And I think you'll enjoy them. Okay? Well, good luck, everybody. And until then, this is Mike. Anything goes, signing off, and take care.